Cheryl, Warren and I were just sitting here talking about if we could amortize $2.1 million for the side dishes like the broccoli and the French fries, what would it be?
Well, my normal meal costs about $5, so I can get about 420,000 meals out of 2,000,001 normally.
What a day. Today is the day that the last year's winner, Zhao Dangpeng, was able to cash in.
Yeah.
He paid $2.1 million. You know, they've asked previous winners, why did you spend so much money to have lunch with Warren Buffett? Some of them actually compared having lunch with you to having lunch with Galileo, Einstein, Gandhi. You're a pretty good company now.
Well, they may have compared it to a few others that you aren't mentioning, too.
$2.1 million last year. In this economy, do you expect for the Glide Foundation, the charity that it benefits, to go for anywhere near that much?
Well, it's sort of hard to imagine. On the other hand, they have had a number of bidders that have qualified and who, if they bid into 7 figures, are good for it. So we will see what happens.
They wait till the last couple of seconds.
Till the last 15 minutes is where all the action takes place.
We've got like the paparazzi here. Everybody wants to see you. Not bad, especially because in a time like this, the guidance that people want and crave from you, particularly Zhao, who will be having lunch with you, they all want to know, what do you see for the global economy first, and then we'll get to America.
Yeah, well, it's going to be tough for a while. I mean, what's going on in this country is going on in much of the world. Actually, China's doing better, but much of the world is in the same boat we are, and right now it's a boat that's in rough seas.
First year that this luncheon happened, which was 10 years ago, it went for about $25,000. Last year, $2.1 million. And the Fed says there's no inflation to speak of.
Yeah, well, if we can keep that trend going, we'll have a lot of fun, won't we?
Do you see inflation somewhere on the horizon? And I ask that because, of course, everybody says we've been printing a lot of money and spending so much money, and that it is somehow an inevitable.
Liz, what we're doing raises the probability significantly of very significant inflation down the road. Not this year, next year, maybe the year after. But we have taken actions, and they were appropriate actions, to fight the war we were in that started with a vengeance last September. In taking those actions, we've applied medicine dosages to a patient that's never been done before except in wartime. And it will have consequences, and nobody knows exactly what they will be, and nobody knows how effective we will be in draining a system that we've been flooding. But the probability of significant inflation has really gone up.
And you look at the U.S. dollar, for example, which has been behaving a little squirrely, but you talk to a lot of people who watch this and they say the dollar will eventually lose so much of its value because of this.
Well, it won't necessarily lose value against the euro or the pound because they're going through the same thing. But it will, in terms of its real purchasing power, I think it's sure to lose some value over time, and the probability of it losing significant value in a 10-year time frame has been increased a lot.
Times are obviously tough, and all you have to do is look and see what President Obama has had to do, which you just referenced, not to mention Congress. Everywhere they're trying to patch and fill and prop up, and it leads to the question, is the U.S. issuing too much debt, or just about right?
Well, it's doing what it has to do, and it was appropriate to do it. It has consequences, but when we fought World War II, we ran the national debt up like crazy. You know, I mean, it became 120% of GDP by the end of the war. It was still the right thing to do. Now, it had inflationary consequences post-World War II. What we are doing will have consequences, but it's still appropriate.
Do you believe, say, for example, as Bill Gross of PIMCO does, that the U.S. is in danger of losing its AAA rating at some point down the line because of all of this?
No, as long as you're issuing money in your issuing debt in your own currency, you can print money to the U.S. No, I think we will have a AAA for not only as long as I live, but as long as you live, which is more important.
Okay, I'll take that. I'm happy about that. Unemployment. You had said to me in the past that we could go above 10%, and in fact, I remember it was October of 2007 when Fox Business launched that you said we could hit 9%. That was back then. Mm-hmm. Where do you see it going?
It's going higher. I mean, business has not bounced back.
12%, 15%?
Nobody knows, but we've not come off the bottom yet, and it will work out in the end. I mean, since 1776, it's been a mistake to bet against America. I mean, America solves its problems. How soon, nobody knows.
You and I talked in May, and you said that your companies issue some 50% of all carpet in the U.S., and so you have very much links to the housing market. any sign that you're seeing an uptick or some sign of life?
I get the figures on carpet every day. Every single day I get the orders received, shipments, everything. No, the answer is that we have not bounced. No.
And do you...
We will at some point, but it has not happened to this day.
Berkshire Hathaway's insurance businesses. I remember, you also referenced that they were doing well in certain realms. Right now, of course, President Obama pushing very hard for universal health care. Some of your Berkshire insurance companies issue medical malpractice insurance, for example.
Yeah.
As you look at the plan that the president puts out, in there is no cap, per se, on lawsuits, the malpractice lawsuits, sort of pulling your heart away from your head. Do you think there should be a cap on those lawsuits? Because if we start covering 46 million more people, clearly we may have more liabilities.
Yeah, and there are in certain states they have caps. That's not a big insurance business with us, so I really don't have a lot of conflict of interest in it. But I do think in general there should be caps. And like I say, we've had experience with certain states putting caps on them. But if I'd lost a leg unnecessarily or something, I don't know how I would feel for sure either if I thought the physician had made a mistake. There should be caps, however.
There should be caps.
Yeah.
Well, you talk to doctors like my dad, of course, who used to rail against the lawyers because he said it's ruining the medical profession.
Yeah, although it's kind of interesting. We spend $2 trillion a year on medical, more than that, and malpractice premiums are about 0.5% of that. It's an interesting figure. People think that it's a huge item in medical costs, but it's about 0.5%.
Continuing with insurance, there's going to be regulation. As you know, regulation of banks and insurance, you own both.
Right.
Are you worried about what the president would like to do?
Well, we'll see how the bill comes out. I'm worried. I'm worried that the bill will be drafted the wrong way, obviously. But I think the system in the last year has invited regulation. We got so over-leveraged in many important institutions, interconnected institutions. We had the wrong incentives in place in many very large institutions for what the managers were thinking about. So, we deserve some regulation.
What would be the wrong kind of regulation that you just talked about?
The wrong kind of regulation is something that, in attempting to solve those evils, really stifles a market system that works pretty darn well over the years.
With the flurry of new government programs and the stimulus that's been pushed through, Obama in just the first few months has given quite a bit of attention. As you say, of course, it was definitely needed. But as you look at all that's happened, do you still endorse him with as much enthusiasm as you did during the election?
100%. Yeah, no, I think he is exactly the right president for this country at this time or really any other time, but we're lucky we elected him.
People focus on things now like Korea, North Korea, Iran. You're an insurance guy. You place odds, you place bets. What are you thinking?
It's a dangerous world, Liz, and we have to focus on policies, and I've participated a little bit in a few, that reduce the probabilities that the wrong people will have the wrong weapons, because you have plenty of people that wish ill on their neighbor and particularly on the United States, and there is the knowledge out there as to what to do to cause a lot of damage. You've got to keep the materials away from people, but we are in a very dangerous world that way.
What's worse, in your opinion, North Korea and how close they are with missiles, or Iran?
It's hard to tell. I mean, it's one person or one small governmental unit deciding that somehow they have something to gain by doing something that's very dangerous for the world.
No matter what state the world's in, you find ways to make money, Mr. Buffett.
I'll keep working on it, yeah.
Well, word is that you're sitting on $1 billion profit from your Goldman Sachs investment, just at the height of all of the fear. The government's cashed out. They've got their TARP money back. Would you cash out?
No. I will keep those Goldman warrants right through their full. They got 4.25 years or so to run, but I think we'll make a lot of money out of those.
Are you still extremely worried about the state of the economy as much as you were back in September?
Well, we got past that point. We were at a meltdown point. On September 16th or thereabouts, if Bernanke and Paulson and whoever else, if they hadn't made the right moves then, if we'd had somebody there that was like a deer in the headlights, this system would have melted down, the financial system.
We've talked to Reverend Cecil Williams of the Glide Foundation. This lunch benefits them, and he says he's seen such an influx of the needy, the people who need help.
Yeah, they had a huge base, and it's up 20% this year. They're going to serve close to 1 million meals. I mean, there's going to be no shortage of demand for their services.
Well, thanks to the gentleman who bid last year $2.1 million It'll definitely help. Zhao Dang Yang was his name, and he's with the Pure Heart Hedge Fund. Here he is. Hi, Zhao.
He's a hero. Hi, Zhao. Good to see you.
Nice to see you. Come right over here.
Yeah.
Just quickly, we want to say congratulations, and how excited are you? Stand right next
it's very
to
nice. Yeah, we
come
already
right over here.
Not over here.
So,
This man is a...
which side?
This right
This is the
here.
camera, so you turn to it. So tell us quickly, you excited?
Yeah, it's very nice. All right, happy.
How much is your fund?
Yeah.
How much is your fund up for the year?
About 47%.
47. What do you need his advice for?
Wait a second. Wait a second. Here you are, John. You get 47%. Go to it.
He gave him the wallet. Not
But
bad.
it's all contributed to him because I learned a lot of knowledge from his books.
Everyone loves to learn from Mr.
This man is a
Buffett.
hero.
Yeah,
Well, have a great time.
Yeah.
Enjoy your lunch, and just take one more seat here so we
Okay.
can properly thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
And Dermot, get the man a cherry Coke.
Now
That's
you're
what he
talking.
drinks. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you coming on Fox Business, and have a great time. We hope it goes for more.
I hope so, and Liz, I've enjoyed it. Okay.
Good to see you. Cheryl, Tom, back to you live from Smith and Wollensky. Which is better, the Manhattan steaks or the Omaha steaks?
This is the best place.
It is. He knows. He knows.
It is. No, it's. I love.